These are the top 15 key themes and the conversations that I keep having with my clients, and I'm here to share them with you right now. This is an overview of everything that's covered from my conversations from April to June to give you the key themes that are impacting people. And my aim of this video is to help you take them on board, because out of 15 of them, I guarantee at least 3 or 4 of them are going to be applicable to your job search journey and what you do. I'm Tony McBride. I'm a career transition coach, and I help individuals move from one role to the next through career, CV, and interview coaching. And I can't wait to share these details with you so you can learn to do something different. So the first one is Easy Apply, and this will come as no surprise to anyone who's been following me for a while. The single biggest thing that people keep doing is using LinkedIn Easy Apply to apply for opportunities. Stop, okay? And the reason why you should stop is because recruiters deprioritize that as a source, because it tends to be a lower quality versus people who get referred in, people who apply through niche job boards, people who apply directly to the company website. These are better quality candidates. So recruiters look at Easy Apply last because it's a bad source of candidates. So if you're using that, come off that platform right away. The next one is all around 10-year rules and CVs and ageism, essentially. If you have experience beyond the 10 years, ATS will tend to rank you lower because that experience is less relevant to the role that you're typically applying for today. So if your CV is longer than 10 years long, cap it at that 10 years of experience and only talk about the roles that fall into that umbrella. You will have more success if you're more focused in that space. Next one is all around hiding career gaps. So I consistently see people doing things like having a year here and a year here instead of months to try and hide a 6-month gap. Or equally, just a 6-month gap with zero explanation. So add in that career break and make sure that's visible, and just explain in a small paragraph what it was, because more often than not, the thing that you're hiding is actually less of a concern to the recruiter. Be upfront about it so you can try and get a sense of that from there. And the next one is all around a CV and a work experience reading like a job description. So what I mean by that is the bullet points in your CV that represent your work experience outline the key requirements of the job, but they don't tell the recruiter or hiring manager the things that make you unique. So think about the projects you worked over and above the work that you were doing every day, and think about the types of things that you were involved in, and that will help you stand out versus the type of bullet points that typically come through. The next is all around using AI to write CVs. I use AI as part of my process. I've always been open about that. But as a certified CV writer, I know how to prompt it properly and what to look out for. But if you go into AI and ask it to write your bio for you and write your work experience for you, it's going to look the same as everyone else's if you copy and paste that info directly from AI. So for example, some of the opening things are a dynamic professional, a results-driven professional, spearheading things whenever no one in the UK has ever spearheaded anything in their lives. So, those kind of things make it really obvious, and there's just so many more. So if you're going to use AI, use it for feedback on your own words. Don't copy and paste, because you'll blend in with the rest and get less interviews ultimately. If you're liking these tips, I offer lots more every week in this newsletter, so make sure you add a comment if you've got any feedback, or click on that subscribe button if you want to see more of these every week. So the next is the over-reliance on recruiters. What I mean by this is people going out to the recruiters and trying to depend on them to find an opportunity for you. Recruiters are great, and I don't want to tar them all with the same brush, but they're only typically interested in the jobs that they're going for. So quite often they can send you down a very specific path that you apply to every role that you're going for. So make sure that you take control of your own search. Try to target hiring managers and speak to them directly. Don't depend on a recruiter to do everything for you. In an interview, what is your niche experience that you can offer as part of that role? So this is based on the fact that so many people think they're a good match for roles, but then they just miss that opportunity because they haven't got it over the line. Essentially, what you need to do here is make sure that you consider what makes you really stand out so that you can showcase that and do that over and above anyone else. Equally, any gap that you've got, consider that gap and how you can close it. If you tell them that, then they won't come to that same conclusion. Gonna take a coffee break. Right, the numbers game then. A lot of people apply for 50 jobs a week because you're not in if you can't win, and that is quite possibly the worst logic you can use, because you get an ongoing cycle of being rejected for roles, which can really impact your well-being, but these are roles you were never really a good suit for anyway. You also are putting less quality into your applications, because if you're trying to get 50 over the line, there is no way that you're taking the time to tailor the CV and target everything in the way that you're supposed to. So I would rather see you go for 5 really good roles than 50, because I guarantee you'll get more interviews off those 5 than you would off the 50 that you're going for. Next is failing to tailor the bio. Okay. So with your bio, you've got to make sure that it is specific to the job that you're going for. And the more you do that, the better it comes across for those who are reading it, because a recruiter makes a decision in 6 to 8 seconds. So if you do something as simple as end in the bio with, I look forward to taking my skills in X, which are pertinent to the role, and applying them to role Y in company Z, it immediately impresses the recruiter, because no one else is doing this. It's really unique. So tailor that bio and make sure you're thinking of the things they really want versus the things that they see every day. Next one is all around the hidden job market. You need to tap into that as much as you can. So that means having a look at people who you used to work with, seeing where they're working now, tapping them on the shoulder to see if there's any opportunities or whether they can refer you in, or looking at your top 5 companies that you really want to work for and start reaching out to people who work there. Start to have those conversations, because more often than not, my clients are securing opportunities through those type of opportunities versus the standard applying for jobs repeatedly. So give it a go this week and see if it changes things for you. Right, we're on to tip 11, and this is the overqualified element. So a lot of people think that if they're overqualified, they could take a step down and could just go into roles and then get really annoyed that they don't have the experience or that they're not getting recruited for these type of roles whenever they've done that 5 years ago. But you're up against people who did that yesterday. So the problem that you've got is that you need to make it really clear why you're going for that type of role. And it can't be because you need to find a job. It's got to be related to what the hiring manager is going to want to hear. They'll think you're a flight risk if they don't, and you won't progress through the applications. So ultimately, take the opportunity to explain that after working in a career at that level, you're more keen to work at this level. And that could be work-life balance. That could be a decision to want to slow into retirement and not be at a leadership level. That could be motivated by wanting to work for a charity sector and doing things like that. Find your reason to step down that's applicable to the hiring manager, and they'll see you as an asset, not as a risk. If you ignore it, they'll determine you are a risk. The next one is all about interviews and honestly waffling in interviews. When it comes to the opening question of tell me about yourself, limit yourself to 2 minutes. They're not looking for your whole career history. They're looking for you to give them the highlights. And equally, when you're doing the STAR framework, it should be no more than 3 to 5 minutes when you're going through those competency-based questions. Anything further and you're talking too much. So try to cap that so that you can try and stay relevant and keep the hiring manager interested in that conversation. The next one is wasting the final interview questions. I love this tip. It's one of my favorites. So basically, whenever you're at the end of the interview, you've got to ask questions that you wouldn't necessarily find on the job description and you wouldn't necessarily find via Google or via AI or Glassdoor or any of them. So ask them, what's the team dynamic like? Why is this vacancy available at the moment? What do you see as the biggest challenge you've got when it comes to managing stakeholders? Whatever those questions look like, that give you genuine insight into the role. This helps you decide if you're the right fit for the organization and can identify red flags if you're not. But equally, if they give you an answer and you build a bit of rapport, so instead of saying, thank you, my next question is, you actually say, great, I've actually seen this problem before when I worked for company X. It'd be great to be able to talk a little bit more about that. It showcases a bit more of your background and it'll make them interested in hiring you. So leave on that high and you will get that role. Next one is all around job titles. So a lot of people come to me with their CV and they've got very ambiguous, weird job titles that don't match the industry whatsoever because certain companies keep things a certain way. Or they might have worked in a role for 10 years, not progressed in terms of job levels, but actually changed roles internally. So they end up with these convoluted job titles. It's fine to change the job titles in a CV as long as you're not promoting yourself to director instead of manager. So you can tweak them to be more in line with what the industry says. So if you see a job description and the description sounds a lot like what you're going for, you can change the job role to be that job description. But again, don't falsely promote yourself because you will get hot water later. And my last tip, the top 15 of all of the tips that I have, this is the one that resonates most with some people. If you are reading a job description and you've got at least 70% of the skills, you should be applying for the role that is listed. The reason why this is important is because a lot of people see the job description as the literal Bible of everything that they could possibly want. And that's true. A lot of people either write the job description and go for everything they want in a candidate. But all of these many things don't really exist in the market. So those who apply with 70-80% have still got a chance to do it. Now, you might have a higher likelihood of being knocked back, and you should set your expectation for it. But if someone's went too far with a shopping list, then they've got to compromise, and you don't know what they're going to compromise on. The 70% could be the biggest priority for them, and the 30% that you're missing is actually bottom of the list. So go for it. Prepare yourself in case it's a rejection, but if it's a positive and you get to meet them, you could end up securing that role. And so many people discount that opportunity because they see that random piece of technology that they need 5 years of experience in, which actually you can really easily be taught. So those are the top 15 themes that are coming through over the conversations that I've had over the last while. As we get into the summer, things do slow down a little bit. So take more time in your applications, consider these 15 points, and determine which one you're going to do that'll make the biggest difference. Let me know in the comments which one you think is the most applicable, and if you've got any questions on any of these, pop a comment in and I'll come back and let you know. So again, I'm Tony McBride, and don't forget to like, subscribe and comment so you can see more of these every week. Good luck with your job searches.